Hello and welcome back to our channel Travel and Jobs. I hope you are doing great. Guys, I have discovered that many people don't know the difference between a UK dependent visa, the UK study dependent visa, the UK work dependent visa, the UK adult dependent visa, and the UK child dependent visa. And we keep getting questions like, my cousin is in the UK and he has been there for about 5 months. Can I apply to join them there? And a lot of related questions like that. So in today's video, I am going to explain to you what a UK dependent visa is all about. I will also tell you who qualifies to be a dependent. I will tell you now the difference between a UK child dependent visa, a UK adult dependent visa, and a UK student dependent visa. I will also tell you the requirements of applying for a UK dependent visa. I will tell you the documents you need for a UK dependent visa, and I will crown it by telling you how you can apply for a UK dependent visa, and also some new changes that may come in place this 2023 in a UK dependent visa. So if this is something that interests you, please hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification icon for you to always receive notifications when we post new videos. Okay, so now, what is a UK dependent visa? A UK dependent visa enables overseas immediate family members of a UK visa holder to join them there in the UK. Meaning, if you are in the UK and you hold a UK visa, your family members back home may be eligible to join you where you are in the UK. And the visas that are eligible for dependent visa are the work visa, the student visa, the ancestry visa, and the business visa. That means if you hold any of these visas, you may be eligible to bring in your family members from overseas. Now, who is qualified to be a dependent? A dependent can either be a spouse or a partner or a child of a UK visa holder, and the partner must be in a civil relationship or must be married or must have lived in the UK for at least 2 years. So that is what is qualified to be a dependent. Now, what is the difference between the child dependent visa, the adult dependent visa, and the student dependent visa? The child dependent visa is for children of a UK visa holder who are under the age of 18 to meet them in the UK. And these children are supposed to be independent, meaning they are all dependent on their parents' funds, and they must not be working because they are solely dependent on their parents. Why? For an adult dependent visa, it applies to children of the UK visa holder who are above the age of 18 and are still dependent on their parents. Why? Now, a UK student dependent visa is just almost the same like a normal dependent visa. It is for overseas immediate family nationals of a UK student visa holder who can join them there in the UK through this same visa. So that is the difference between the 3 visa routes. And under the UK student dependent visa, the UK student dependent visa is granted to mostly masters and PhD courses, because the UK government assumes that they are already over 18 years old, they are already adults. But for undergraduates, they also grant these visas to undergraduates, but not all of them. Undergraduates have some requirements that they need to meet first before they can also have that status to bring in their dependents in the UK. And thirdly, still under the student dependent visa, students that are studying courses of less than 9 months do not have the ability to bring in their dependents according to the UK government rules, while those that are studying courses above 9 months are the ones that can bring in their dependents to the UK. But exceptions to this are for those that are studying a government-sponsored course can bring in their dependents even if the course is for 6 months. So I hope you can now understand clearly the difference between these visas. Those people that were asking me if they could bring in if they could apply to meet their brothers in the UK or their cousins in the UK, you cannot do that because you can only do that when the visa holder is your immediate relative, is your immediate family member, or it is your child, not even your immediate family member. It is the visa holder is supposed to be either your child or your parents. So parents can also come in. Parents can also come in provided the visa holder is having ILR, that is the indefinite leave to remain or citizenship. So if you are already having your citizenship in the UK, your parents can also be eligible to join you there under any of the dependent visas. What are the requirements for a dependent visa? The various dependent visa types have different requirements, but I am going to be talking about that for a student dependent visa and a work dependent visa. So generally all these requirements, the main requirements for all the visas are: you need to prove your relationship requirements, you need to prove your financial requirements, you need to prove your identity requirements, and you also need to intend to live together for a longer period of time in the UK. Now for the dependent visa financial requirements, you will need to at least show that you have the required funds that can support you and your dependents in the UK. Usually it is £845 for those that are living in London, and £680 for those that are living out of London. And you will need to have at least £285 for your spouse or your partner, and you also need to have at least £315 for your first child. And if you have any other child or the second child, you need to pay an additional 200 British pounds for your children. So typically those are the financial requirements for the student dependent visa. While for the work dependent visa, you will need to demonstrate that you have at least 18,680 British pounds as in your bank account, then with an additional 3,800 British pounds in your bank account. Then you will also need to show that you have at least 285 British pounds for your spouse or your partner, and you also show that you have at least 315 British pounds for your first child, or 200 British pounds for an additional child. So typically those are the requirements, but this requirement applies to only students dependent visas and the work dependent visas, while others also have their requirements. Let's now talk about the documents needed for a dependent visa. Each of the dependent visas, like I told you before, have different documents, but I am going to summarize the general documents that you may need for a UK dependent visa. You may need, first of all, the global web form, that is the GWF form. You will need a proof of identity. It can either be your passport. You will need a proof of relationship, that is either the birth certificate, marriage certificate, or the civil partnership. You also need a proof of dependence. You will need your bank statement, and I think that is basically what you will need for the documents. Now, how can you apply? To apply for each of these dependent visa they also have their own different application processes, but I am going to summarize what you may need. You will need to complete and submit an online application form, usually in the gov.uk website. You need to pay your application fees. You need to pay your application fees, and you also complete your immigration search charge. You will need to upload all the documents that are needed for the UKVI service. You will need to book and attend your interview. You will also need to do your biometrics. I think those are the documents that you will need. Those are the that is the procedure that you will follow for you to apply. Then now, how long does a UK dependent visa takes? The UK dependent visa typically takes 8 weeks for you to get your decision, and some people may also have the option of the priority visa service. When you have the option of the priority visa service, it may either be for you to get a decision within 5 business days or to get the decision within 1 business days. For 1 business day, for 5 business day decision, you need to pay an extra of 975 British pounds for you to get the decision within 5 business days. I think this is typically the one that is available. Now, let's talk about the UK dependent visa ILR, that is the indefinite leave to remain. If you have lived under the UK dependent visa for more than 5 years, you may be eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain. And once you apply for indefinite leave to remain and you are granted the indefinite leave to remain status, you may be able to bring in now your parents to the UK, or you may be able to bring in now your dependents that are above 18 years. So that is how the UK ILR works. If you are able to prove this, or you are able to have this, it is a very good stance, because you'll be able to bring in your dependents that are above 18 years, and you may be able to bring in also your parents. So apparently, this is a summary of what a UK dependent visa is all about. And for those of you who have been applying for a dependent visa, or you have some problems, or you have some questions to ask, please just leave the comments in the comment section below, and I will answer each and every one of you there in the comment section. So thank you very much for watching this video through till end, and please don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't also forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification icon for more interesting contents that I am going to be uploading here on a daily basis. Thanks, and I will see you in our next video.